Yeah, you had the cool dad who wrote for Rolling Stone, so. Timothy, fun fact, Jenna Fisher, Phyllis Smith, and Ellie Kemper are all from St. Louis. So, because I know you're a big Office fan.
Yes, that's what she said, yes.
So this question is mostly for Nick, but I think you could also answer it based on what you've read or what you've observed. But you've had such like a big story to tell, and there's only so much time like in a movie. So is there anything you wish got into the movie but didn't?
That's a really good question. I mean, I don't know, not really. I have to say, I think one thing that when the movie was being made, we really decided to kind of like, I don't know, trust this process, and we really trusted the director, the producers, and honestly, like for me meeting Timmy, and for my dad meeting Steve, like we just were kind of like, we trust these people and we're gonna like give this to them. And when I saw it, like it felt so authentic and so, I don't know, and for me, I think because I've kind of moved on in some ways in my life, like recovery is still a big part of my life, but I also am like, doing other things, like I'm not writing about addiction all the time and stuff. So seeing the movie was just such an incredible reminder of like everything that we went through, and just how grateful I should be just every day, like to be alive and to have a relationship with my family like I have. And so in a way it was like just such a gift that the filmmakers and everyone gave to me and my family. I feel like I should watch the movie like every 6 months or something, so I just remember like to just be grateful, So I don't know if that answered that, but yeah.
And
I don't know, I mean, no, again, like Felix, who directed it, he organized the memoirs and he kind of sequenced it the way he wanted. So maybe because I have no control in that, like I've never had the thought, but I thought for those that have read the books, that was I'm sure that was a challenge for him because there's so much in there. So I don't know, sorry, I don't have an answer.
thank you so much.
Good question.
Oh, you're not going to say anything this time. Okay. Hi, it's really great to see both of you, especially in Missouri. I know it's like Missouri, but I think this movie was like maybe particularly relevant for a lot of us because, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but the 573 area code, which is where I'm from, up until 2014 was the meth capital of the U.S. So like, I guess like with that background, so many of us have like seen so many people in our lives go through this. And the power of personal testimony was so powerful, but it makes me wonder what you guys are going to do moving forward as the movie continues to roll out and momentum builds, how you're going to continue to like make the most of the platform and the power that you have with this movie.
Well, that's a good question. I feel like that makes me feel like I want to go do stuff. Yeah, no, but we are. I mean, I'm continuing on to do like we're visiting like basically like one city every day, like all around the whole country, and get to talk about these issues with people, which and just to share. It's so amazing to hear people share their stories and their experiences, and that's such a cool thing about like being open that I found is like when we're open, it kind of like allows other people. It seems like to like be open too, and then. I don't know, it's amazing. Like I was at a wedding the other day, and I didn't know anybody. It was like friends of my wife's, and I think because of the movie, this one woman came over to me and she was talking about how her husband had was a cocaine addict and he'd been hiding it from her, and so I spent like the whole wedding talking to her, and actually then another woman came up and talked to me about like getting divorced and her kids and like having a joint custody situation. So my wife at the end was like, God, I'm so sorry that you had to spend the whole wedding like talking to these two people in crisis. And for me, it was like, are you kidding? That's like the best possible way I could have spent it. And like dancing with a bunch of people and eating like some super bad wedding food or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's a super gift, and we're just gonna keep going, and talking to people about this. And hopefully, Timothy will be able to keep going all the way through the spring and keep, talking about this with people.
No, I feel the same way, and I'm like really grateful the way you said that, and for illuminating like even just in this area, and that's why we're here truly, and there's like a lot of gratitude for everyone in this theater, truly, because I know there's a lot of movies out right now, and there's things that are maybe more commercial fanfare or aren't as, I don't know, like challenging or something. And what you said, secondly, and also relates to like the first person that came up here, I've had a lot of friends like go through this, and not with methamphetamine, but with alcohol and Xanax and what have you. So that's why it feels like as much as possible, like I'm doing Little Women with Greta Gerwig right now in Boston and social. Like this isn't a complaint at all. Like we're having a great weekend. Like this is fucking awesome. But like, but this is like anyway, as much as possible, because of the thing I just said. I feel like, you know, it's Netflix now. They're streaming, so the incentive maybe to go to movies isn't as high. And if you do go, you want to see like a bunch of explosions or something, and not like a really intense. Yeah, anyway, so thank you, and I hope that answers it in some way.
Yeah.
The production company behind this movie is Plan B Productions, and that's Brad Pitt's production company, and Brad Pitt's from Springfield, Missouri, so we have the Missouri connection.
Hi. First of all, I wanted to say, Timothy, the way that you portrayed the times when your disease would take over your body, it was so accurate. It was scary to see somebody that I'm assuming hasn't experienced addiction. I mean, it was like looking in the mirror when I experienced it myself. So thank you. And Nick, I'm so glad that you're alive. Thank you both for bringing this message here. What I wanted to ask was about the parts in the film where you portrayed the recovery aspects, treatment, meetings. That was the most accurate portrayal of that part of addiction that I've ever seen in a film. Usually it's really focused on the really dramatic parts. So if you could talk a little bit more about the process of making that part accurate, because in most movies, in my experience, when they talk about the recovery side of addiction, it's an afterthought, or they're just tying it up in a little bow, or it's really hokey. It felt real and honest, so just wanted to know about that.
The more time I spent with Nick, the more time I spent with the books, the more time I spent going to meetings or centers or recovery. It was exactly what you said. I realized I'd been like sold a cliche or something, or maybe not a cliche, but it was an afterthought, like you put it. And I think the biggest thing for me, again, it like comes back to humanity or something, where you go to these meetings and like, I don't know, you see TV shows where they're presented as bleak or something, or very hokey, and instead people are full of gratitude, like they're saving their lives. It's often not with a month of sobriety or a couple weeks, but years of sobriety, and people are going in to really focus on themselves. And that was like a huge eye-opener for me in that way. And it's interesting because the monologue in AA in the movie is, it isn't like, I don't want to say it's sad or something, but if anything, I watched that and I go, oh man, that was maybe another opportunity where we could have like maybe subverted that and made it not as like heavy or something. Because in my short experience going to these things, like they were much lighter, I felt, and it seemed like people were very joyous to have saved themselves or their loved ones. And then shut the fuck up. But that like it seemed too like. Again, there wasn't a leap to be made, like you said. It would maybe feel hokey or something to be like, whoa, I'm in a meeting now. And when people do this in real life, like they're in meeting mode. When in reality, it's like, you know, one of my favorite things I heard in a meeting is like, your life is what happens in between meetings. And like, this is like your base, your safe zone or something. So people go in there and anyway, so that's really awesome to hear, because that's, I think, one of the hopes going into it. It's one of the things about Beautiful Boy from the book and Tweak, is it, again, almost maybe in a complex or scary way, you go, oh wow, like this is a very human disease. It's comforting to think addiction has a face and it couldn't affect your family or what have you, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, I think that was an amazing answer, and the only thing I would add is that, yeah, I mean, just in terms of like that message of hope that we're trying to get across with the movie and talking about it, you know, the amazing thing for me, as I've seen in recovery, is like, my life just opened up once I got sober. Like, it got so much better, and you know, the relationships that I have, like within the recovery community, are so, I mean, they're the best relationships in my life. You know, I mean, I go surfing with these guys pretty much every day that I can, and you know, it's not like your life ends when you get sober. It's like a death sentence. It's the opposite. It's like just opens up, and you know, you just end up having these just kind of incredible opportunities, incredible relationships, and that's something that I'm so grateful for. And I'm so happy to hear that you felt like it was authentic in the movie, because yeah, I mean, I think we just worked really hard to make sure that that was true, and we could just sort of portray it as honestly as possible. So thanks for saying that.
Yeah, thank you. One more question.
That's so much pressure. I really loved the poem at the end, and just like how y'all put it, y'all said the full thing in the credits. God, I'm so sorry. And just, I wanted to know like how y'all decided to do that, and like, just like how that happened. Sorry.
All right, I'm gonna answer really quick so we can do one more after that. Sorry. Yeah, like that was that's a Charles Bukowski poem, and it's featured earlier in the movie. And there's actually like a big, you know, way out of my pay grade like thing they had to do to get to be able to use that bit in the classroom. So that's where the origin of that poem at the end came from. But I even as a viewer, I haven't really seen something like in a movie like that before. So anyhow, yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Let's do one more. Let's do one more. Let's do one more.
Thank you so much. Hi, Timmy. Hi, Nick. Okay, so it's kind of for Timmy, I guess. How did you get coached on how to act during the scenes when Nick was high? Did Nick help in describing the lifestyle and how to like portray the high? Like, how did you learn how to capture the mannerisms of like actually being high?
I think just research, and there's a lot of stuff online, and many a video, and I don't think we specifically talked about that too much, but yeah, just try to research it, and like the internet is an endless place, so that's basically it.
Thank you. They have to get to Minnesota this afternoon. So thank you all so much, and thank you so much.